Embracing your fate, the Stoic Way. Imagine this. It's a typical Thursday afternoon. I'm walking home from work, exhausted after a brutal day dealing with impossible deadlines and an avalanche of tasks. My head pounds, my phone buzzes non-stop, and suddenly, my whole world stops as I glance down at the message on my screen. "We need to talk immediately. Call me." It's from my best friend, Jake. Instantly, dread fills my chest. I dial his number with trembling fingers. He answers, his voice cracking. "It's my mom. The doctors said she only has a week left." And there it is, one of those moments life throws at us. Cold, harsh, and utterly unavoidable. A moment none of us ever want to face. Yet we all inevitably do. A moment I knew would challenge everything I've learned about life, fate, and acceptance. Have you ever experienced something like this? Something so intense, so earth-shattering, it forced you to question everything you believed? Today, we're not just talking philosophy. We're talking about how embracing the Stoic approach to fate can fundamentally shift your perspective and transform your ability to face life's hardest challenges. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see your fate not as something to fear, but something powerful, meaningful, and profoundly life-changing. Now, let's dive deeper. How exactly does Stoicism help us embrace our fate? Stoicism, simply put, teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. Sounds straightforward, right? But let's be honest, it's incredibly difficult. When you're facing illness, financial ruin, heartbreak, or loss, the impulse is never acceptance. It's resistance, anger, denial. I remember vividly the moment Jake called me. My first instinct was disbelief, then anger at the unfairness of it all. But as the days passed, I revisited Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher who faced death, betrayal, and loss constantly, yet always remained centered. Marcus famously wrote, "Everything that happens, happens as it should, and if you observe carefully, you will find this to be so." Think about that. Everything that happens is precisely as it should be. Powerful, right? But why? Because Stoicism isn't just about passive acceptance. It's about aligning yourself with the natural flow of the universe, accepting fate to unlock personal power and peace. But can you imagine actively embracing your fate during tragedy, job loss, illness, or heartbreak? How radically would your life change if you learned to accept what you can't control? Well, let me tell you a secret. When you stop fighting fate, you start mastering life. Fast forward 2 days after Jake's call, and I found myself sitting next to his mom's hospital bed. Tubes, machines, and monitors surrounded us. Jake was heartbroken, understandably angry, spiraling into despair. I took a deep breath and remembered Epictetus' powerful words. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. I realized right then, my struggle wasn't with reality. It was with my refusal to accept it. So, I turned to Jake and gently shared this Stoic insight. Instead of fighting or resenting his mother's fate, maybe it was time to cherish these precious moments fully, to live each remaining day meaningfully. Jake looked at me, his eyes filled with tears, yet also understanding. Something changed inside him, and me. We spent the next several days laughing, reminiscing, loving his mom fully, accepting the inevitability of her fate. It wasn't easy, but it was profoundly liberating. And here's the thing. When you embrace your fate, you start seeing meaning in everything. Every hardship becomes an opportunity to live courageously, compassionately, fully. Embracing fate doesn't weaken you. It makes you unshakably strong. But let me ask you, are you truly ready to accept your fate and transform your relationship with life's hardest moments? Because the deeper we go, the harder and more rewarding this journey becomes. Just when I thought I'd mastered acceptance, fate tested me again, and what happened next challenged everything I thought I understood about Stoicism, fate, and myself. And trust me, what comes next will absolutely blow your mind. How one terrifying moment completely transformed my understanding of fate and freedom. You won't believe what happened next. So there I was, feeling confident I had mastered the Stoic art of acceptance. believing I understood how fate worked. But fate is funny. It has a way of surprising us exactly when we think we've got it figured out. 3 weeks after Jake's mom passed peacefully, I found myself driving home from her funeral. Rain pounded against the windshield, my mind lost in thought, reflecting deeply on life and death. Suddenly, a screech, a flash of headlights, and before I could react, a massive collision threw my car spinning across the highway. I woke up moments later, shaken, terrified, yet miraculously unharmed. But the other car wasn't so fortunate. Heart racing, I stumbled from the wreckage towards the crushed vehicle. Through the shattered glass, I saw the driver unconscious, bloodied. Paramedics arrived minutes later. The driver survived, but barely, and police quickly determined I wasn't at fault. But guilt crushed me regardless. This person faced months of recovery because of an accident involving me. Instantly, my stoic acceptance crumbled, replaced by overwhelming guilt and anguish. How could fate be this cruel? This random? How could I accept such unfairness? Had I misunderstood Stoicism completely? Have you ever felt utterly betrayed by fate? Ever questioned everything you thought you knew? In those dark, confusing moments, you're not alone. I realized right then, I had a choice. Blame myself, the universe, fate, or dig deeper into Stoic wisdom, searching desperately for answers. And this led me to one of Seneca's most powerful insights. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. I paused, breathless at this revelation. Fate, Seneca argues, is inevitable, but how we respond defines our freedom. Was I allowing fate to drag me through guilt, resentment, despair, or could I willingly embrace this experience as part of life's natural order? But could I really choose freedom amidst such guilt? Could accepting fate actually free me from suffering? Determined, I sought out the accident victim during their recovery. What began as a single visit became weekly conversations, shared laughter, and eventually, mutual healing. Instead of guilt, I chose connection. Instead of resentment, I chose compassion. Instead of despair, I chose gratitude. And that's the incredible power of embracing fate. When you willingly accept your circumstances, you unlock extraordinary freedom. You're no longer fate's victim, you're its partner, its student, its master. But here's the real question. What happens when fate truly takes everything? Is Stoicism powerful enough for life's ultimate test? Because shortly after, life handed me its hardest, most brutal lesson yet, a lesson that would challenge Stoicism itself, and could change everything you believe about fate and meaning. You seriously can't miss what's coming next. I lost everything, and then fate showed me its greatest secret. You need to hear this. Continuing immediately from where we left off. I thought I'd seen it all, but fate wasn't finished teaching me yet. One crisp autumn morning, just weeks after I'd begun feeling truly connected to Stoic acceptance, the universe handed me its ultimate test. I walked into my office, greeted by unusual silence. My colleague's eyes nervously darted away as I entered, an ominous sign. Before I could even sit down, my manager called me into her office. Her expression told me everything I needed to know. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "Budget cuts. We have to let you go." In an instant, my entire world crumbled. Shock hit first, then panic. This was my livelihood. How would I pay rent, bills, survive? I'd never felt more powerless. Betrayed by fate itself. Why now? After everything I'd already endured? Why me? Has fate ever blindsided you like this? Maybe it wasn't a job. Perhaps it was losing someone you loved, a diagnosis, or betrayal from someone trusted. Whatever it was, you know exactly that sinking, gut-wrenching feeling. I had two choices: spiral into despair or embrace Stoicism deeper than ever. I won't lie, it was brutally difficult. Every Stoic lesson I'd learned came rushing back. But knowing wisdom and truly living it are vastly different things. Sitting alone at home, jobless, bills stacking up, I recalled Marcus Aurelius's words again. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But do so with all your heart. At first, this felt impossible. How could I accept this fate when it seemed so cruel, so undeserved? Yet deep down, A quiet Stoic voice whispered, "This isn't punishment. It's an opportunity." Fate was forcing me to reconsider my entire life trajectory. It wasn't about the job. This was about purpose. Fate, it seemed, was guiding me somewhere important, even if painfully. But let's pause. Have you ever deeply considered that fate's harshest moments are actually guiding you toward greater meaning? Because if you haven't, let me tell you, it's life-changing. Fate doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. Inspired by this thought, I chose courage instead of despair. I accepted my situation, not passively, but actively, deciding to rebuild my life with purpose, clarity, and authenticity. In fact, I decided this was the exact moment to pursue my long-forgotten dream of writing and sharing philosophical wisdom with the world. But what came next was completely unexpected, even by fate's standards. One evening, sitting in a small cafe, writing a blog about Stoicism, acceptance, and life's unpredictability, a stranger approached me, recognizing the Marcus Aurelius book on my table. We started talking, and it turned out this stranger was a publisher who deeply resonated with my story, insights, and perspective. Within weeks, I received an offer to share my Stoic journey through a book and, eventually, speaking events around the world. From unemployed and terrified, I was suddenly thriving, sharing the power of Stoic philosophy with thousands. Was this luck? Perhaps. But looking back, it felt like fate had guided me perfectly all along. Even through pain, even through loss, fate had stripped me down completely, precisely to show me my true calling. But here's the real lesson. The secret fate had waited patiently to reveal. Accepting your fate doesn't mean surrendering your power. It means reclaiming it completely. You see, we misunderstand fate. We think fate limits us, chains us, defines us. But in reality, fate sets us free. Free from illusions, free from fear, free from wasting life resisting reality. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's absolute, invincible strength. I genuinely believe you're watching this right now for a reason. Fate led you here, not by accident, but to show you this truth. Whatever you're currently facing, whatever seems unfair, impossible, or overwhelming, it's exactly the path you need. Your suffering, your struggle, your uncertainty, they're guiding you toward deeper wisdom, strength, and purpose. So, ask yourself deeply right now, what if your greatest challenges were precisely your greatest gifts? What if fate is your most loyal ally, patiently nudging you toward your fullest potential? If you truly grasp this, your entire life changes. But to embrace fate fully, there's one more essential truth you must understand. Something Stoicism teaches brilliantly yet few ever truly master. Imagine if every obstacle, every heartbreak, every loss became your greatest ally. How powerful would you be then? Fate is not your enemy. It's your teacher. Your struggles are not punishments. They're lessons. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, all knew deeply that fate doesn't happen randomly. It's carefully crafted to test, shape, and strengthen your character. The hardest things you endure prepare you perfectly for what's ahead. And here's the most profound insight Stoicism ever taught me. The only true freedom you have is the freedom to choose your attitude toward fate. You can't control what happens, but you always control your response. And here's why this matters more than anything. When you choose acceptance, courage, and gratitude, you're untouchable. Fate can take your job, your relationships, your health, but it can never touch your soul, your dignity, your purpose. That's the power of Stoicism. It doesn't shield you from reality. It arms you with wisdom, courage, and resilience to face it boldly. I started this video with my friend's devastating call. Lost a job, endured guilt from an accident. Yet today, I wouldn't change a single thing. Fate, in its ruthless wisdom, taught me exactly what I needed. True strength is not avoiding hardship but embracing it completely. Now, consider deeply, what fate have you been resisting? What painful truths have you avoided? Right now, fate is offering you the same transformative gift it offered me, the opportunity to embrace your circumstances fully. To transform pain into purpose, and fear into freedom. And here's the life-changing truth. When you embrace your fate completely, you live fully. fearless, powerful, at peace. Think deeply about this powerful wisdom from Seneca, a man who suffers before it is necessary. Suffers more than necessary. Are you suffering unnecessarily right now? Are you fighting fate, or learning from it? Because once you genuinely embrace your fate, you'll realize you were never truly powerless. Fate was simply revealing your ultimate strength. This moment, right now, is your chance to reclaim that strength. I genuinely hope you've realized through this video something profoundly true and deeply stoic. That embracing fate doesn't trap you. It liberates you entirely. It transforms your hardest moments into your most meaningful victories. Remember, fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. Choose willingly, embrace courageously, live fearlessly. Because when you embrace your fate, you finally become unstoppable. Now, tell me, what fate are you ready to embrace right now? Don't wait, start today. Your greatest strength, greatest wisdom, greatest life is waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and remember, the fate you embrace is the freedom you gain.